let's switch over to the NFL. Draft lottery happened in the NBA, but there's been some conversations about should the NFL make some changes? Should they follow suit? Should the NFL do a draft lottery to get rid of tanking in the NFL? What are your thoughts on that?
I don't think they should. I like the NFL draft as it is right now. And obviously with the lottery, there's a lot of controversy in the NBA with that.
Yes.
And I don't really think the NFL needs any more problems than they already have to deal with. So I think just leave it as it is right now. And if there was a trade previously and, that team, that boosts them into the top five spot, I think just leave it at that.
Yeah, we do see some teams just be completely ass for the whole season, but I don't think tanking is as big of a problem in the NFL as it
It's
was in the
not.
NBA.
Right.
So I think the draft lottery would be nonsense. Like, could you imagine like the Pittsburgh Steelers? That's the only way they could get the number one overall pick. That would save a franchise like the Pittsburgh Steelers. Because time and time again, Mike Tomlin's never gonna have a losing season. They're always gonna
hmm
be in purgatory, they're always going to be in no man's land with the quarterback position.
Oh yeah.
Aaron Rodgers still hasn't signed,
I know. I
so,
know. And
so
it's I saw something on NFL Live. I think this was last week when the schedule came out. They said that the Steelers have there's a very good chance the Steelers will go 0-6 because the first six teams that they have to play, those six teams have a better quarterback situation than they do.
yeah, and this could be the first season Mike Tom. Like, yeah, if Aaron Rodgers doesn't sign with the Steelers, this is like one of the worst teams we'll see in the NFL. They could
Oh
get
yeah.
Arch Manning. They could potentially get Arch Manning if they want. But yeah, the draft lottery for the NFL would definitely help a team like the Steelers. We could see the Rams be in position to get the number one overall pick, like teams like that are
hmm
at the top because like I think the NBA draft lottery is so cooked because you see Dallas, Philadelphia. What was the other team? The Spurs. The top three teams. These are teams that are set. These are three teams that are going to be good year after year. Philly,
hmm
struggled this year, but the Spurs have Wemby, so it just doesn't make sense. And then you have the Charlotte Hornets, who are like the worst team in the NBA,
Every year.
and never could get a generational player. They lucked into getting Lamelo and
Yeah.
Brandon Miller too, but they could definitely use a Cooper Flag over there.
And what's funny about the Hornets, just real quick, is just that if I'm not mistaken, they were the team that drafted Kobe, right?
I think so.
Yeah, it's just, historically, the Hornets are just, I know their fan base is just going through it.
I don't like. I've never met a Hornets or a Bobcats fan in my
Yeah,
entire
me
life.
either. Yeah.
I rarely see any discourse about them on social media either. Too, that's a team that's very quiet with their
hmm
fan base. Yeah, and the Wizards too, like these other teams. I think that's kind of cooked. But the playing tournament, the NBA is definitely more competitive
hmm
due to it. So hopefully we see teams like the Wizards, the Charlotte Hornets, like, hey, no, we need to go all in. We need to be more competitive because regardless, we're not going to get the number one overall pick.
Right.
But I think yeah, the draft lottery in the NFL, it wouldn't it would make the NFL a little worse, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
100%.
What about a play-in tournament though?
That would be interesting just because I don't know, how Roger Goodell would, shape that up. I know that there's been talks of, adding an extra game
Yeah.
again to the regular season just because of the wear and tear of, the nature of football. I don't know how that would look. Just possibly, I mean, they could do it how the NBA does it, just implementing, that playing game into like a regular season game.
Yeah.
But that would be interesting. I've never really like thought of it like that.
They could add another playoff team and just have, yeah, like 8 playoff teams and have 7 and 8 compete with another team and then just have like that before like the last games of the season, which I think the NBA has benefited from the play-in. Like the play-in has actually been really good.
It has.
Minus the Eastern Conference. I think, seeing the Bulls, the Heats,
Yeah.
the Heat, the Hawks, like
Yeah.
it's been snooze basketball. We're not tuning into that shit. But
Oh no.
The
No.
West has produced some really good playing games. Um, I would be for it. I would be for it with the NFL if they could make that happen, and it could be as um suitable as possible, as suitable as possible for the NFL players. Because at the end of the day, asking them to play 19 games would be crazy.
That's ridiculous. Yeah, and we already have the problem with CTE and ACLs. That would just cause even more issues in the NFL.
Yeah, we need less dudes like Antonio Brown out there.
Oh yeah.
But moving on to a topic that hits close to home, Caleb Williams. There was an article that came out. I don't know if you've seen it. I know this is something that you got a kick out of.
A little bit, a little bit.
Bro, the fact that him and his pops was trying to forego the NFL as a whole just because of Bears was fun to take him. It's crazy to me. But at the same time, being Bears fans, this is not like, I mean, if I was in that same position, I'd be very hesitant to go to the Bears too.
Yeah. The quarterbacks, like his dad said,
They go to
it's a
die.
place that, yeah, it's where they go to die, with the exception of Jay Cutler. But other than that, the Bears, still haven't had a quarterback to throw over what 4,000 yards
Yeah.
in a season. I would be hesitant if I was Caleb as well, and you could even see it on Justin Fields' face when he was drafted. Like, I don't know about
Yeah.
this. But then again, I don't know with Justin if it was because of the team that drafted him or if he fell to the 11th pick. But
Mhm.
either way, it's not the best situation
Probably
as
a
a
little bit
quarterback
of
on
both.
Chicago. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
And finally, like, we are acting like a competent franchise now. We
A
get
little
the
bit.
head coach, Ben Johnson, but that there was like, talk that he wanted to go to Minnesota with Kevin O'Connell. If he would have went to Minnesota,
That'd be
Jefferson,
dangerous.
Justin Jefferson, him, like I think the rookie season he would have had would have surpassed what Jaden Daniels did, in my opinion.
Yeah, yeah.
Minnesota could have potentially been in opportunity to win a Super Bowl. I think Caleb's that good, and getting him a head coach like a Kevin O'Connell, with the weapons, Justin Jefferson, offensive line was kind of bad, but that still would have been a better situation than what he faced his rookie season.
Oh
And
yeah.
all the concerns about him and going to Chicago, they were validated in his rookie season. I know him and his pops was blue.
Oh yeah. They were hot.
They're
They
like,
were hot.
We did this shit. We went through with it."
What's crazy is that there were even talks of him like possibly signing with a UFL team just to, not go to Chicago.
Which is
That's
crazy to
that's
me.
insane. I've never seen anything like that.
That would have been like one of the first things ever, like for a quarterback to do. But it's like showing you now that things are different. College
Hmm.
players, like if you're a top player, you got to be a little more focused on the situation, what situation you're going to be put in. Players have more power than ever now. And it's an interesting topic because you look at the next year, the draft class for quarterbacks is going to be a little better. These quarterbacks, hey, I don't want to go to Chicago. I don't want to go to these situations where
Right.
quarterbacks are going to die. And we see a Sam Darnold. He went to the New York Jets. Look at
Hmm.
him in Minnesota. Look at him in another situation where
Right.
situation matters so much. So
It does.
you think that's going to change things? You think quarterbacks are going to start taking this method, start taking this, idea?
I think it all depends on the personality because you got a guy like Cam Ward who is confidence is at an all time high.
Oh yeah.
And that's just who he is. I don't think like for someone like him, I don't think it matters what situation he goes in. He's gonna go in believing that, he can take that team to the playoffs. But then there will be guys like, in the future who may be like, I don't want to go to that system and, I may, go back to school for another year, whatever the case may be.
Yeah. I mean, like the Tennessee quarterback that just transferred to UCLA. I mean, we see it already
Hmm.
happening with college. Like
Yeah.
teams are making, I mean, players are making business decisions. Justin Fields, I'm hoping he's better in New York, going from team to team, like it gets to a point like, is this gonna be the year? Am I gonna be a backup quarterback for the rest of my career now?
Right.
It's tough, but I'm pulling for Justin still. That's my guy.
Oh yeah, me too. Me too. 100%.
With Garrett, he might light it up in New York.
Those are
Um,
my guys from O State.
I know.
Yeah.
I think with Kevin O'Connell, Ben Johnson. Which coach would you rather have if you're Caleb? Probably Kevin O'Connell, no?
Yeah, I would lean towards Kevin O'Connell.
Ben
Just
Johnson, yeah, go ahead.
just because of the way he developed and brought Sam Darnold back to who he was expected to be coming out of college. I think I would be a little bit more comfortable seeing that and going in that system than Ben Johnson, who's good with more of like putting together a good run game, as
Mhm.
we saw with Jameer Gibbs and Montgomery up in Detroit.
That's a good point. I think Kevin O'Connell is probably a more personable coach. He came up to Caleb after Bears versus Minnesota, and he's like, "Keep your head up." I've seen him do that to a lot of young quarterbacks too. I think
Mhm.
Anthony Richardson, he did that to a couple other coaches. So I think he has that personality that gels well with the young quarterback. A coach you're gonna, obviously go to bat for a little more because
Oh yeah.
he got that great relationship with him. Ben Johnson, I still don't know what to think of him. He's done really great in press conferences. Seems like he's got a good personality, but I think, yeah, Kevin O'Connell is a more personable coach, but Ben Johnson, in my opinion, is a better coach.
Oh
Just
yeah.
like it's just about which one would you rather have. But going to a quarterback that I don't fuck with, Brock Purdy. Uh, he just got the bag. In the hindsight, this is a good contract for both sides. Actually, for one side, the 49ers, they got a good deal with him. They got him at a good price. Um, 53 million. He's the seventh highest paid quarterback in the NFL right now. Behind, I
Hmm.
think he's tied with Jared Goff. Honestly, he should probably fire his agent. Like,
Yeah.
if you think about it, like what he's done in the little tenure he's been with the 49ers, NFC championship game,
Super Bowl.
multiple times, Super Bowl, like a play away from beating the Chiefs. Um,
Yeah.
he should renegotiate because seventh high, like he should have got top three highest paid quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah.
Like Trevor Lawrence, these other quarterbacks that really have not the resume Brock Purdy has. Like he took a cheap deal.
He did. He did. A lot of people don't give Brock Purdy the credit he deserves. I mean, at times, like I do. Like for example, my mom is a 49er fan, and me and her
Okay.
argue. She thinks that Brock Purdy's a top 3, 5 quarterback in the NFL, and I kind of pump the brakes there. But I he does deserve a lot more credit than what he is given, just
Right.
because of what, like you said, just because of what he has done in his short period of time. But then people like to say, well, look at the talent that he has around him.
Avengers.
Yeah. But then again, not everybody's able to, you know, do what he has done with the talent that he's given.
Yeah.
There are a few quarterbacks out there that you may look at and be like, you don't know if they would do the same thing with those players, like Trevor Lawrence, for example.
Right.
It would be a big question mark to see if he'd be able to do the same thing.
Yeah, and I think it's clear and obvious he's better than Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah.
I think he'd still be a top quarterback in the league anywhere else. He has the right tools. Obviously, though, it's an interesting conversation when he struggles a little more when his guys are hurt.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
I think he's still a pretty solid quarterback. And to take your team to the NFC Championship game, to get there, play well in the Super Bowl. I thought he played pretty well. Just to have that consistency, I think
Hmm.
he's a good quarterback. But it's
Yeah.
interesting seeing stuff like I think there was a report coming out that people in the building or somebody related to the 49ers said Mac Jones could still be a starting quarterback in the league. And he's a backup quarterback right now. I think
I, that's crazy. I
could you
disagree.
Mac Jones is ass.
Yeah, he's
He's
horrible.
not good.
He's horrible.
He had that one nice season in New England. People were talking about him, being a great Tom Brady replacement, but Drake May is clearly better than Mac
Yeah.
Jones. That's a clear upgrade. And I don't, nothing in his game moves me.
No.
And if Brock Purdy somehow loses his job to Mac Jones, I don't think this will happen. I think this is a higher chance of you winning the lottery than this shit happening.
Oh
But
yeah.
if it happens, it'd be hilarious.
Oh yeah.
There's a no trade clause in Brock Purdy's contract. Um, do you think he wins an MVP, or wins the Super Bowl for the 49ers in the duration of his contract?
I think that it's more, if I had to say for him to get one or the other before, I would say that he would win an MVP before a Super Bowl just because I think that, the 49ers window of winning a Super Bowl is pretty much shut.
The Rams are
And
too good.
not, yeah, it's not because of the 49ers, it's because of what other teams in the NFC have done as of recently, building their rosters and just getting better overall. And even the 49ers lost some pieces, unfortunately. Debo Samuel, Travarius Ward, um, and they had their shot. And I
Yeah.
thought, during that time, I thought they would have pulled the one out, but
It's tough because yeah, they had their shot multiple
they
times.
did.
Like it's really like you got to maximize those opportunities because you might not make it back again in the Super Bowl and the NFC Championship game. And I think really it's tough because the Eagles are now the new 49ers. And
Yep.
they beat the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. They
Yeah.
capitalized off their opportunities. And how good of a GM Howie Roseman is and how good of a quarterback I think Hurts is. Yeah, I don't think they'll be able to dethrone the Eagles. I don't think they'll be able to dethrone the Rams either in the next 2 years. I think the
Mhm.
Rams have their Super Bowl window open still as that team to compete. But yeah, like you said, there's the teams in the NFC are getting better. Carolina might be a team that could possibly pass them up. Like teams are getting better in the NFC. Chicago
The
Bears,
Commanders.
Commanders, Jaden Daniels, like NFC Championship game his rookie
Hmm.
season. It's going to be tough for the 49ers. I don't see them. I see them with their schedule though. It's really easy. Their schedule is
It
easy as
is. They have
fuck,
the easiest schedule in the NFL this year.
which is crazy. They got blessed. So I think they'll have an opportunity to still make the playoffs. I don't think they win their division though.
I can see the Rams winning the NFC West this year.
Me too.
The Seahawks are still there. They'll be good.
Arizona might be solid too.
Yeah.
Like 9-8, 8-9, eight and
Yeah,
nine type.
that's another tough division this year.
Mhm. So yeah, we'll see. Dallas too. We were hating on Dallas. They just got George Pickens.
Yeah, wait, but one, I meant to tell you this about 30 minutes ago now. There was breaking news that the 49ers extended
Okay.
Fred Warner, so there's that. But yes, Dallas, they give CeeDee Lamb and Dak Prescott some help on the opposite side of CeeDee Lamb, which will be interesting. I think, that does elevate Dallas into a playoff contention maybe. But that'll be interesting.
It's another great division. Like we said, that was one of the better divisions in the NFL. I don't know about the Giants. Their schedule is insane. You've
Yeah.
seen the Giants
Oh,
schedule?
yeah, I have.
Their defense is good enough to keep them in some of those games, but we'll see. Jackson Dart and Russell. But yeah, that's all we got for the NFL talk. It's been a pleasure having you on the episode once again. Great
Yes,
breakdown, great
sir.
analysis. But yeah, that's all we got for this episode. Make sure to follow, make sure to subscribe on the YouTube channel. Check us out on TikTok, Instagram, all that. Check out Chi-Town Blitz as well. Same socials, Instagram, Twitter. I said Titter. TikTok, all that. My mind was in the gutter. Not locked in. But yeah, that's all we got. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening. As always, peace. Some people thought the NFC North was going to be the worst division in football this season. They thought it was going to be as bad as the NFC South.